Breaking news. Julius Malema has strongly denied all allegations of wrongdoing raised during proceedings at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Before we dive into the full story, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest political updates. Speaking in response to evidence presented before the commission, Malema rejected the claims against him, insisting that he has done nothing unlawful. The allegations emerged during testimony and evidence being examined by the commission, but the EFF leader maintains that there is no proof linking him to any wrongdoing.
EFF leader Julius Malema has strongly denied allegations of wrongdoing contained in evidence before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Malema rejected claims that he participated in efforts to interfere in state institutions or maintained an improper relationship with senior crime intelligence official Major General Feroz Khan. Malema submitted an affidavit to the Commission denying any unlawful conduct on his part, but did not seem to address the claim that he received information relating to a complainant in a VBS case through Khan. Now, for more analysis, we are joined by independent policing and crime analyst, Dr. Mkhwanazi Matabula. Good to have you, Doctor. It's great to get your views and perspectives on what was quite an interesting session yesterday.
As the inquiry continues, South Africans will be watching closely to see what new evidence is presented and whether these allegations can be substantiated. Stay tuned as we bring you the latest developments from the Madlanga Commission.
Good morning to you and good morning to the viewers. It was an interesting session indeed. Precisely because we were not expecting to see such gruesome allegations against the leader of the EFF.
Yeah.
However, I think, because yesterday they relied mainly on what was extracted from General Khan's phone, I so wish that the Commission can go as further as extracting some WhatsApp messages from the leader of the EFF so that they make a comparison whether what appears on General Khan's phone does appear also on the leader of the EFF's phone, because we don't see messages flowing directly from the leader of the EFF to General Khan, but we are seeing Mr. Moore's side acting as a conduit between the two. So that will be very interesting.
Yeah. Now, let's look a little bit further here and talk to some of the evidence suggesting that Khan actually drafted parliamentary questions for Malema to discredit former Inspector General of Intelligence Isaac Dintwe. This is quite this is not a good look. I mean, when we look into this, I suppose one of the questions we need to ask is, how does an intelligence officer weaponizing Parliament actually affect the public's trust in civilian oversight?
If the allegations are anything to go by, I would call this, they had a corrupt relationship. However, the Commission call it a quid pro quo kind of relationship, meaning it's something for something. It's a reciprocal kind of relationship that I do this for you, you do this for me. But General Khan, as a very senior police officer, should have known better, especially as someone who is in charge of crime intelligence in South Africa, should have known better that you don't share information with anyone. You don't discuss intelligence information or any police information with anyone who's outside the police. Even those who are in the police, you are very selective as to whom do you discuss such information with. But we are seeing the senior officer here discussing information with the leader of the EFF and the likes of Mossad. But this is not something that has happened in isolation. Mm-hmm. We've had throughout the Madlanga Commission testimonies, some sharing very confidential information. You remember the likes of Jonathan on sharing dockets with Ted Matlala, the likes of Sergeant Kosi sharing information with the likes of KT and others. So it's something that I think has been common, but they've been doing it with impunity.
Yeah, and it certainly is, and the repercussions are massive because, I mean, if in fact this actually does come through as fact, as we say right now, it's still allegations. But if this does come through, how serious are the repercussions of something like this? I mean, for anybody that's involved in this, whether we're talking about, witnesses, anybody else, from an intelligence perspective.
This is very serious. But again, as far as I know, General Khan doesn't have a security clearance. It's supposed to be a top secret clearance. Maybe because he doesn't have a clearance, he may say, I never had a clearance, so I can share information with whomever that I want to share. That's the danger of not having a security clearance. Was also mentioned by General Mkhwanazi, that they are having problem with the state security in doing the vetting process expeditiously. But we know in General Khan's case, it's a different ballgame. Yeah. So it is a serious offense within the SAPS. If he's found to have violated the laws of the SAPS, he may found himself following the likes of Brigadier Macheng and the likes of Major General Shibiri.
Yeah, I mean, let's also, while we're speaking about this and serious breaches, I mean, it's also alleged that Khan shared the private address and details of a VBS mutual bank curator with Malema. These are all still allegations. I mean, this is a very serious breach of police confidentiality for state security.
It is indeed. Sharing information, especially even if you're an ordinary police, a junior member in the police, sharing information about a complainant, it is a serious violation of the Police Act and serious violation of the Criminal Procedure Act as well, because you know that information may lead to maybe the complainant being assassinated, as we've seen in the past. So it's not a good picture, yeah. And it doesn't paint a very palatable picture about the kind of generals we have in the SAP, kind of people who are supposed to lead by example, but what they are doing, they are leading by bad example.
Yeah, let's talk about these leaked WhatsApp chats now, because this basically shows that Syed passed messages from Malema to Khan, so acting as an intermediary. And the promises that were made, I mean, just to read the message here, saying that this is a fight and we will emerge victorious. And this is all regarding Khan's disciplinary woes. What did Malema stand to gain from keeping Khan in the strategic police position?
I think as the commission continues with the testimonies, it may come to light as if what is it that he stand to benefit? As I said earlier on, that this is what is called a quid pro quo kind of relationship where I give you something, you give me something. It remains to be seen. We also heard that at some point, Julius Malema called Khan to say he must arrest members of Tudula, Operation Tudula. Maybe those are some of the benefits that is gaining from this kind of a relationship. But I think as they continue with the testimonies, there's more that will still come to light. But again, I still feel that they must look at the cell phone of Julius Malema, look at the cell phone of Mo Syed, and then compare all these messages. There we may see more bombs.
Let's now just look at what we know and the facts that we know here. When we see the response from Malema, he has denied any conspiracy, and he says he cannot verify the authenticity of the WhatsApp messages relied upon by the Commission. So it's important that we get this through as well. So from an investigative perspective, how important will this digital forensic verification be before any legal conclusions are actually drawn here?
That is very important. They must get a forensic investigator to sit down and do a comprehensive work in terms of comparing all these messages. But I think it will be fair for Julius Malema to be afforded an opportunity to appear before the commission, because submitting an affidavit is not enough, since they cannot interrogate it and probe it further. But for him to appear before the commission, it will give us a clearer picture whether he was indeed involved in this kind of various activities or not. But I think it will be fair.
Yeah, it certainly would be. I mean, and I think that's an important move that we really do need to see taking place. I mean, from your perspective as an independent analyst, how does the Feroz Khan case actually illustrate the extent of political capture within crime intelligence? Because, I mean, when we look at all of the things that are happening here, and also if in fact what we're hearing is true, politicians and intelligence officials start communicating through private intermediaries rather than formal channels. I mean, talk to me about the extent of this political capture within crime intelligence.
Crime intelligence has never tasted peace for many years. There's always been problems in crime intelligence for many years. If you look at the situation now, the current Inspector General of Crime Intelligence is suspended. So that shows you that crime intelligence has never been stable. And indeed, they've been captured for many years. But when you look at the testimonies at the commission, most witnesses are afraid to talk about politicians who have captured the SAPS. I don't know for what reason. Maybe they fear for their lives. I don't know. But you could tell that there is something there. Like I said, the case of Musa Kaula, where allegations were made that Fikile Mbalula was involved, it was never ventilated to the latter by the commission. I don't know for what reason, but it was just a touch and go. So that also shows that politicians are somehow involved in capturing some of the key positions within the SAPS and the crime intelligence as well.
So, I mean, we also heard, and evidence leaders were presenting a tender for fleet management that Syed sent to Khan allegedly on Malema's instruction. Bring us into your confidence. I mean, how common is it for politicians and police to mix operational policing with corporate tenders? I mean, is this a common occurrence?
It is a common occurrence, just that the commission cannot go deeper in looking at the involvement of politicians as far as SAPS tenders are concerned. Some of the politicians are involved, but they make sure that they play their role, behind the scenes, so that they are not exposed. But this is one thing that needs to be looked at. I don't know how, but government needs to look at it, because it is very clear. The politician, General Khan, now there's a SAPS tender, and the involvement also of General Khan, even before, when he was at the Treasury. And when he came to the SAPS, he came to the SAPS for a mission. That's how I say it. Because after he came to the SAPS, nothing stopped him from doing what he was doing when he was still employed by Treasury. And today, he's on suspension.
Yeah, more allegations again presented, and Khan is accused of using police resources to target rival tobacco competitors to benefit Carnalinks. This, of course, is a company that's linked to Syed. These networks, I mean, how do they compromise the integrity of crime intelligence?
The integrity of crime intelligence has been compromised many years ago, and we've seen over time. But again, coming to the senior officers and members of the cartels or members of some syndicates, that is very common. And members of syndicates or kingpins are very smart. What they do, they look at those who have power within the police or government, and they capture them. What do they gain? They gain protection. And what do those members gain? They only gain money from those members. We've seen this happening over time. Look at the situation of Ket Matlala. Ket Matlala did not just capture individuals like constables, no, but he captured generals and brigadiers in the SAPS. And today, they are sitting at home, enjoying their money since they're on suspension. But it's only a matter of time before we see them in orange overalls.
Yeah.
That is going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, when we look at what's also happening, I mean, in these chats, it indicates that Malema may have stepped in to protect Khan from internal police discipline. So again, this is a quid pro quo relationship where politicians shield cops from accountability in exchange for confidential information. This is a complete undermining of the rule of law.
It is. We look at the testimony by Vusi Shonga from the MK party. He said when they were deliberating in parliament as to who must come and testify before them, they raised the name of General Khan. But again, the leader of the EFF was very adamant to say, why must you call General Khan? What value is going to add to the ad hoc committee? And indeed, General Khan was not called to testify before that. And I was so looking forward to his testimony because his name was mentioned from the 6th of July, 2025 by General Mkhwanazi, where he said General Khan is the richest general in the SAPS. And judging from the checks that we saw in the last two days, it is very clear that indeed he is one of those that are very rich and has got a lot of resources.
Well, certainly, and the reality is that, of course, his electronic devices have been seized, but many of these allegations remain untested because he is yet to give evidence, and we know that, obviously in hospital and doctors saying he's not able to, and this is a big problem. But listen, we'll continue more analysis on this. Thank you so much for weighing in on this, Dr. Matebula, who of course is an independent policing and crime analyst, unpacking just some of the evidence involving Major General Firoz Khan that's being presented at the Madlanga Commission.